General Motors in 1908. He took the leading manufacturer of horse-drawn vehicles and applied innovation to transition to automobiles. Over 100 years later, innovation is still alive and well at General Motors. Please help me welcome our keynote speaker, the Vice President of Innovation at General Motors, Pamela Fletcher. And she will be joined by Manish Kapoor, CEO of ADVANTIX.
Hi, Lincoln. Thank you. It's a real pleasure to be here today and to be with the broader USC team. Manish, are you on?
I am. Pam, good to have you on the USC event. I know this is the first time for GM. I'm super excited to have you here with all the experience over the years you've had with GM and even before that, laser focus on innovation and disruption. Talk about the Chevy Bolt and the Bolt and now the autonomous vehicles that you're leading as the global head of innovation at GM. So we at USC are really excited to have you here. Obviously, I've had a pleasure to work directly with you and your team. So excited to really have you here. And I think the big question that I started to get from people, I'm sure a lot of audience here are thinking, hey, GM makes cars, what are they doing here? At a supply chain convention. So it'll be great to get your insights. I think two things. One, learn more about your journey so far and some of the learnings when it comes to innovation and disruption. We're at a turning point as an industry, but also maybe start with why GM and why supply chain, why here?
Yeah, hey, thanks, Manish. Thanks for that that introduction. And you alluded to some of the products I've had the privilege to lead those projects and deliver to customers in the past. And, nothing more inspiring, right, than delivering game-changing things that really excite and delight customers like the Chevrolet Volt did when it was introduced, and then, followed on by the Chevrolet Bolt, the first long-range, affordable EV. So exciting. And, with that, I've had the opportunity to kind of expand the view of innovation across the company. So I'll get to the why GM, why here, why today in a minute. As of late, we've been looking at the challenges that exist around the movement of goods. This topic was already very top of mind for us pre-COVID. And, COVID has certainly brought that future much closer in time for all of us. It's been really exciting as our teams have worked together lately to compare ideas and get creative about how we tackle some of those delivery and logistics challenges that are right in front of us. But a little bit first on how we look at innovation to kind of position what I'm going to talk about in the greater scheme of things. So the team I lead and at GM is called Global Innovation, and so our team's job is to turn high potential innovative ideas into scalable new business ventures that drive growth and loyalty. As you can imagine, we are a large engineering and manufacturing organization by definition, and we have people working on innovation everywhere, working on innovating technologies and processes that apply to our core business, which is designing, developing, manufacturing and selling great cars, trucks, and crossovers. My team's innovation focus, again, as I say, is a little bit different, right? Finding those opportunities adjacent to our core where we can leverage General Motors technology, know-how, IP, in a new way to solve real customer pain points through a new product or service. And, we're not looking for incremental change. We're looking for revolutionary change to really provide novel solutions. Once we identify an opportunity, we very much run an agile process. We look to incubate these things as a startup in a test and learn environment. Once we've achieved, kind of critical KPIs and convinced ourselves that we have something novel that's meaningful to customers and a willingness to pay, then we will go and make the decision to scale. We haven't been public about a lot that we're working on. And in fact, I think at the end of our conversation today, people will be interested maybe in more we're working on, but that'll come in the future. Two recent examples that are out there are we've taken the safety and security of OnStar, our on-vehicle telematics solution. Basically, we've taken that to the phone, so really anywhere. So provide that safety and security to all people all the time, and we're really excited about that. And another one, which is very different, is GM Defense. So we've launched that business. I've recently just won a program for the Army's Infantry Squad vehicle, which as an example of how does our philosophy work around innovation, in that for that vehicle, we are able to leverage 70% commercial off-the-shelf technology to meet the very unique requirements of this infantry squad vehicle with proven, reliable, already scaled technology. So, hopefully you hear we're a group that really works to envision the world as it could be, and create those new solutions to help our customers. Importantly, we want to make sure that those solutions help advance General Motors' vision. And it's a vision I'm very, very proud of. It's a vision where we see a world that has zero crashes, zero emissions, and zero congestion. So why am I here today? So finally get to that part of your question, Manish. And so through our research, through a lot of empathy work, we found, and this would be no surprise to anyone on the call here today, we found that the global e-commerce continues to grow at an unprecedented rate, and consumers are wanting their packages faster than ever. The more we learned about the high demand, the many challenges of delivery and logistics companies, what they're facing today, we really see the opportunity for some unique solutions. So following the work that we did internally, we've embarked with ADVANTIX, Manish and his team at ADVANTIX, with various workshops and pilots together to better explore firsthand the existing challenges and really to further refine, solutions to make a very meaningful impact to those challenges that delivery and logistics companies are experiencing today. Before I get into that much more, Manish, you want to talk a little bit in detail about, from your seat, how you see the industry changing and some of the big challenges that are coming about. I know that you've been trying to help many companies with logistics and supply chain, not only now during COVID, but before COVID. So if you could share a little bit about, your view of the world, that would be terrific.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Pam. So I think maybe a 30-second quick background for the audience as well. I come from Amazon and FedEx. I was the first person hired when Amazon wanted to build their own home delivery. So those gray vans with the smileys that come to your home, I was part of the team that launched it. And prior to Amazon, that was worldwide. Prior to Amazon, same-day delivery services at FedEx. So for me personally, home delivery, e-commerce, rapid delivery has been top of mind for many years. We all know, given the situation right now with COVID-19, everything is just being rapidly, the speed is mind-boggling. Most e-commerce companies, especially in certain verticals like food, we've seen the fastest growth. Apparel is the other one, electronics. So some of these verticals, companies that were in the e-commerce space already in the game, have suddenly seen rapid growth to the tune of some of our customers were expecting the volumes that they have now 2 or 3 years from now. So that's been so rapid, which clearly puts a lot of pressure on these companies to figure out how do we even keep up with that, and what kind of changes are required, and so on. So those changes are throughout the entire supply chain, all the way from your forecast to where you're getting it manufactured, where you're actually getting it through the supply chain, all the way to the consumer's home. And I know there's going to be multiple sessions talking about pieces of that. What we've also seen is the most disruptive segment has been the last mile. Mm-hmm. So it's also because the last mile is the most expensive mile. It has been so far. Just the basic economics, the truck that's going to the neighborhoods isn't your 53-footer line haul that has thousands of packages in it, so that your cost per package goes down. In this case, you're taking maybe 100 packages in the truck, so your cost per package is pretty high. So what we're seeing is that we're getting pushed rapidly for faster delivery, more local delivery. And the impact of that is that you need to have goods closer to the consumer, which means your large warehouses are turning into micro fulfillment centers locally. And then obviously, how do you drive the cost down when it comes to last mile delivery? So that's been a big focus for us, and that's where we've been excited to work with your team as well to figure out not just autonomous, how do we bring automation? I think autonomous, it will come. That's my view is it's still a few years out to really be productive on the road, effective on the road. But there's a lot more we can do between now and then to bring in more automation so that there's more efficiency, the cost of last mile delivery goes down, but also improve the customer experience overall. And it's just not just limited to deliveries, it's also reverse logistic returns is equally complex. It's actually, there hasn't been much work done on effectively bringing the goods back that customers don't want to buy at the end. We've actually doing some research with the USC grad students on that as well. And we learned that many customers just go online and buy, if I need to buy one shirt, I might order 10. And then when the shirts come in, I might try and then send 9 back. So it's going to be more and more complicated when it comes to returns. So that's been a big focus is e-commerce in general, the entire supply chain. But then another laser focus on last mile, which I believe that over the next few years, we'll continue to see rapid change. We're looking at robotics for deliveries. We're looking at drones coming in. But I think even the very basic traditional delivery by truck, there's going to be more automation. And that's why we've been working with you and encouraging GM to get involved and help us solve that at a high pace. So it's been exciting so far to work with you, Pam.
Great, thanks, Manish. So hey, since we are at with a supply chain group, I just wanted to give one example here that really shows the power of supply chain, and it's to me it's very kind of near and dear to the heart. So, one example of innovation during COVID came when we when we went into the business to manufacture ventilators and masks, and so. We worked with a company called Ventec. Actually, we worked with more than Ventec. It's just you happen to hear mostly about them. It's been pretty well documented in the in the media, but so important. It's such an important effort at this time. We've got a long history of kind of rising to the challenge, whether it's the arsenal of democracy that we built in World War II, the world's first heat pump, putting the lunar rover, on the moon, etc. Big differences can be made if companies put their mind to it. And in the case of ventilators, our supply chain and purchasing supply chain logistics efforts were really, I would say, the biggest factor in getting up and running in the ventilator business. What we found was most of these ventilator companies were leveraging the same very small supply chain. And so literally we could reach out to our automotive supply chain with, math and requirements, and within hours have back, proposals. Even more so, within hours we had back tooling, actual tooling to go into the ventilator business. So couldn't have done that without supply chain professionals. So we should always really step back and appreciate the power of what they can bring. Hey, to get back a little bit more to even more specifically to the topic, I briefly mentioned GM's vision earlier of 0 crashes, 0 emissions, and 0 congestion. And we see the opportunity to make strides to that vision as it pertains to delivery and logistics. Think about the worker safety and the interaction of a delivery person, whether on foot or in a vehicle, and how do we improve that? Think about the entire value chain of delivery and how do we eliminate emissions. And a big one is the congestion issue and how do we improve congestion? And we're pretty excited that we think we've got some really novel approaches there. We see, and frankly, we're testing products and solutions where we leverage our expertise to go beyond the vehicle and solve some of those challenges. I want to tell you more, but unfortunately that's going to have to come, you know, at a future date here, which I think would be pretty exciting. But as an example of other, you know, things that we've done, we've launched a vehicle telematics solution recently called OnStar Vehicle Insights, which, you know, launches our 20+ years of connectivity expertise to give fleet managers and drivers the tools they need to make the most of their daily operations. And so we definitely see we can quickly leverage OnStar Vehicle Insights and apply that more broadly to the delivery space. We see that consumers' appetites for more and faster delivery will only increase and create new pain points for both the customer, you know, and the operator ultimately. And we're focused on solutions that improve quality of delivery, speed, and cost, because those are more important than ever, as well as the efficiencies, you know, and overall return on investment. So over the past a little more than a year, we've been testing a number of solutions and have validated use cases, seen improvements in operational metrics, things like less package touch points, and we're continuing to innovate. And so I'd love to tell you more. The world is literally evolving right before our eyes. And Manish, I think we'll have to find a time to come back to this community, you know, in the not too distant future, because again, we're pretty excited about what we think we can offer in this space, particularly last mile.
Yeah, absolutely, Pat. So I did want to share with this group that as ADVANTIX and GM together now, we're working with a number of e-commerce companies on high-speed innovation. ADVANTIX, you know, we call ourselves growth ninjas for e-commerce companies, and we go in and speed things up. And that's our role in this. Anybody, any companies that are interested in learning more about the programs, you know, after we get the NDAs in place and so on, GM has been able to share more details about that. Please reach out. You know, we welcome more participation from the industry, the supply chain experts out there to help us make sure we are designing the products to meet the exact needs that the industry has right now. So I'd encourage everybody to reach out. Either send me a quick note, you know, and I'm on LinkedIn, obviously, just like everybody else. That'd be the best channel to connect, and we can open up the channel of communication if, like I said, anybody wants to be part of the innovation journey with GM here.
That does kind of lead to a question we received from one of the attendees that I'll state for you guys. Could you give us some examples of forward-thinking, innovative companies that you use as a benchmark?
You know, I think there's many. I could go down many paths here. If you just think about companies that transition their business, right, to take what they had and leverage it more. You know, if you can go back to the Adobe example, right, you can even look at Walmart today and things that they're doing to retool. You know, it goes back to the example of building the plane while flying. I think you see a lot of that going on. I think Walmart's doing that today, you know, right before our eyes. And, you know, prior examples, again, Adobe's probably the one that I go back to, I guess the furthest in history. I don't know, Manish, any comments there?
Yeah, I think I have the privilege to work both with FedEx and Amazon. I think they both have led the charge in their own spaces, and but very differently. I think they both are seen as innovators. FedEx was the first company that started to provide information about the package, which was as important as the package. We've heard Fred Smith talk about that. So that was, you know, cutting edge. Well, then we talk about Amazon, which is high speed. You know, every day we hear new things about that. Just last week, I visited the Amazon Fresh store in the LA area. It's fascinating how they've applied technology rapidly in day-to-day, just going to the groceries. I think the difference that I would highlight here is just the pace, and being in companies that may have great ideas, but are they willing to take the risk moving forward? So I think that's where I draw a lot of inspiration from at least those two companies, where FedEx has been and always an innovator. Amazon, on the other hand, is innovation with significant risk taking and high speed moving forward, and we're all seeing the results overall as far as e-commerce is concerned.
Yeah, great examples. And, you know, to me, the notion of companies that can really create fully integrated solutions, right, and not leave those challenges to the end consumer or the user, I think also have a significant advantage.
Yeah, just one quick I would add is that we should always talk about large companies, but fortunately we're also getting to see so many innovative companies and getting a chance to work with it. Smaller companies who are getting the game with lots of great ideas. One of our customers is a company called Runway. If those who haven't heard about them, they are a closet in the cloud for women for renting clothes instead of buying. It's just like Netflix, you pay a monthly fee and you can swap as many dresses as you want online. It's the largest dry cleaning operations in the world for that. So we got to also keep an eye on these young companies that are really bringing disruption in what used to be normal day-to-day situations and processes.
Great. Any closing thoughts for our 2,100 attendees?
No, just a real honor to be here with the greater USC community and with Manish. I have a tremendous respect for the whole supply chain industry and what it really takes to not only survive but thrive in this world that is really couldn't be more dynamic, you know, right in front of us. So I look forward to engaging with this community more in the future and really appreciate you taking the time to listen in today. Thank you.
Pam, thanks for again taking the time to join us here. And I encourage everybody to like I said, get involved in this journey with us. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Pamela and Manish. Very, very informative.